Wait 1 minute. I think I'll clarify it and then you have any doubt? You have any? Where's Daniel? He has left. Okay, we'll go ahead with the class and then I'll clarify it. Okay. Okay. So according to the formation, that is like how it is formed, how a contract is formed, right? Now, it can either be in writing or by word of mouth, that we have already seen, right? So either we can enter into a contract, like we can write it, or it can be just word of mouth, right? Or else it can be inferred from the conduct of the parties. That is like how we conduct ourselves, that we are going to see it, right? Uh, uh, Say for example, like even mm, mm, uh, what should I say? Like, see, both of us are entering into a contract, right? And it the very contract itself, for example, take for example like selling and buy. You're selling the goods, right? And I have agreed to buy, and so I'm buying. There is nothing like in writing and all that, but it is implied, right? Now, from the very conduct that both of us are entering into an agreement, and we know because of the circumstance. Say for example, like you are getting into the bus, right? And you are getting a ticket for it, right? So there is a contract, there is an agreement that the bus driver will take you to the place of destination, but whichever place that you have paid for, right? That is implied. So from that conduct itself, I know there is an agreement between you and the bus driver, right? So like that, either it can be writing or by or it can be even in oral words, right? Just verbally we can enter into an agreement, or just from the conduct or the circumstances that you see, yes, we know that there is a contract, right? Now, on this basis, it can be it can be express contract. That is how it is expressed. So for example, like whether if we have written a contract or if we have spoken it, then it is an express contract. We have expressed it in words, right? Either in written words or in oral words, right? So that is called as express contract. So we have expressed it, right? So the offer can be either in terms of words, maybe I have written it and given to you, or I have told that I will sell this product to you and you have accepted it. So I have promised and you have accepted, I am willing to sell my product and you have accepted that offer, right? So this is an express contract. So it is according to section 9, right? Now an express promise results in an express contract. So whatever promise that we express and the other person accepts it, then it is an express contract, right? Now the next one is, it is implied contract. Now implied contract, it is this is what I said, out of the conduct itself, like you we know that there is a contract. For example, you enter in, I mean, you book a cab, right? And so you see the price. For example, it is 400 rupees, right? And you have a luggage. You get into the cab, right? So once it comes, like you get into the cab with your luggage, it is implied that the money that you have paid, 400 rupees, it is for yourself and for the luggage that you are carrying. Actually the cab driver does not ask you where is the money for the luggage that you are carrying. No, it is implied. You have promised to pay 400 rupees, right? That person has offered, yes, you have accepted to pay that 400 rupees, and it is implied that money is paid even for the luggage that you're carrying. You have a bag with you, you have a luggage with you, but it is implied, right? So the very act or conduct, right? It shows that there is a contract, there is an agreement, and there is a contract. But only one thing is, it should not be vague, right? It should not be vague. So if it is vague, then there is a place for confusion, right? So because how they will interpret, because anything, even a conduct, it has to be interpreted properly. So here in this case, I just the example that I gave, right? You're entering into a cab, and you have accepted, and you have accepted to pay the money, and it is implied that is paid for both you and the luggage that you're carrying. Or as a family, you're going, the person cannot say, no, 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 you only booked a cab and the money is paid only for you, and how about others? No, he doesn't say that, right? Because both of you, it's very clear, it is not vague, it's very clear. You have booked it, and doesn't matter how many people are going, right? So the money that you pay is like he accepts it, right? So this is implied contract. So it can be either express contract or implied contract, right? Now there's one more contract, quasi contract, right? Now quasi contract is here a person should not get advantage, right? uh, of others, should not take any advantage. Say for example, uh, you're coming to my house, right? And you're carrying a bag, maybe you have a money, you have in the house, you leave your handbag at home. Now I take your bag, and then I treat it as my bag, and I take your money and I spend it. Now now here the contract is like, it should not be, because this belongs to you, this particular bag belongs to you, and everything that is there within the bag, it belongs to you. Now I cannot take, just because you have left it at my house, I cannot take it as what it is my own bag, and then finally claim that no, it is my bag because you have left it and you have gone, or you left your mobile at home and then you had gone, so it is mine. No, I can't claim it. Now this is not a contract, right? This is not a contract. This is not a contract also, because it's very clear that it is not mine, right? It is not mine. So even in practical life, there are cases where people tend to claim as if it is their own. No. Say for example, like there is maybe a house that is vacant and no one is residing there, and simply one person goes inside, right, and then takes charge of the house as if it is his own, and no documents, nothing, just because it does not belong to him. Just because it was empty, vacant, he goes and he occupies, and then the owner of the house comes and he says, it is mine, you get out of the house. He has to get out. He can't say, no, 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 I have I'm staying, it was empty, so I came and stayed. No, but where is the document? Where is the contract? Right? Now, so here a person, it can be an individual person or a company, or it can be even a group of people. They cannot, unjustly, take advantage of the others at the expense of others, right? This is what you call it as quasi-contract. So a quasi-contract, please, underline it, you make note of it. It is not a contract at all. The example that I gave you, right? You came to my house, you left your bag, it belongs to you. It does not belong to me. Here it is not. And tomorrow I cannot claim it as my bag and then fight against that. Even if I go to the court, they will say, no, it is not a contract. Right? So a quasi-contract is not a contract at all. Right? So it is, one thing we need to understand, a person shall not be allowed to enrich himself unjustly at the expense of another, right? So that is what you call it as a quasi-contract, right? Now, the next, according to the formation, you call it as e-commerce contract. So any contract which is entered between the parties via internet. These days, like, most of the contracts it is done through the internet, right? So you call it as e-commerce contract. So different individuals or companies, they create networks, right, which are linked, and then they enter into contract through internet. You call it as e-commerce contract. And of course, we are not going to the details of it. So according to formation, right? So it can be express contract, it can be implied contract. Just seeing the situation, you understand that there is a contract. It can be quasi contract, that is, it is not a contract at all, where a person is he's taking advantage of another person, right? Or he's enriching himself at the expense of another person. Then it is not a contract at all. It cannot be enforced by law, right? So that is quasi contract, or else it can be even e-commerce contract, right? Now the last one is it can be classified according to performance, right? According to performance of the contract. So when we know that when there is a contract between two people, right, we enter into a contract and then it completes, right? Now, so on the basis of the performance, either it can be executed contract, which means it is done. Say for example, like, I am buying a mobile from you, right? So you are selling it at 10,000 rupees. So you're willing to sell your mobile at 10,000 rupees, right? Now I take it. I have accepted your offer and I have bought it, right? Now here the contract is over. It is executed. It is over. It is complete, right? But in some cases, a contract may appear to be completed, right? But it may still, it might continue, right? It might continue. There's an interesting case here, right? A person who, bought a bun and it had a stone and it breaks when he, when he was eating, that stone, broke one of his teeth. Now he has a right to recover damages from the seller. Now, already, yes, you have sold it, right? And I have bought it. The contract is over, it is executed, but still sometimes it might still continue. Today I gave you an example of, you're buying something from the shop, right? You take it home and it is damaged. Then you come back to the seller and you're asking for damage, right? So it might, already it is executed, but it might, continue. In some cases, it might continue. So it can either be executed contract, and sometimes even the executed contract, it might, continue, right? Now, the next part, the other one is executory contract, which means it is yet to be carried out. Now, say for example, like, I'm buying a house from you. Maybe you're the builder and you're, building a house for me. Now, contract is made between us. Now, sometimes I pay the advance money, right? And then you start building it. Now, the contract is not yet over. In some cases, say for example, like I leave my car for repair, right? And you are doing the repair. I am paying the charge money, right? I have paid the money, and the work is yet to be done, right? The work is yet to be done for the service. It is going on, right? So here is a contract. It is called as executory contract because it is going on. The work is not yet complete. It is yet to be carried out. It is yet to be completed, right? So that you call it as executory contract, right? Now, in some cases, a contract may be partly executed and partly executory, right? So sometimes, like, part of it, yes, the work is complete, and still it might continue. In some cases, some of the work, it might continue. So it can be executed, and part of the work, it can. Now, in a lot of, for example, like industries and all that, you take a production unit in a factory, right? Now, many contracts between the the company and also from the supplier, when they take when they buy some of the material, right? It could be material, it could be even a machinery or an equipment. In most of the cases, you can see it is some of the work, some of the contract would be executed and partly executory, right? So it can, be executed or executory contract. So based on performance, it can be on the basis of these two. And then you have unilateral or one-sided contract. So that is, say for example, it is one party has to fulfill his obligation, right? So at the formation of the contract, at the time of entering into a contract, and then we go on with the contract, right? It can be just one person could have finished it, and the other person, their work is, it still continues. It is yet to be done, right? So that is what you call it as one-sided contract. Now, simple example is like, just as I have given, in the earlier cases, right? You book a cab, you get into the car, right? Now the contract comes into existence as soon as you get into the car, right? Now, the work is in progress, right? And now you have to pay the money. Already the cab driver, yes, he has accepted it, right? He has offered, you have accepted it, and he started doing the work, right? But only at the end of, for example, like the days you're paying the money, right? Now it is on your part to fulfill. In the industries and all that, you can see sometimes unilateral or one-sided contract can be there, right? Or else it can be bilateral or both-sided contract. So that is the obligation on the part of both the parties, are outstanding at the time of the formation of the contract itself. Now, in the beginning of the contract itself, like, both of us have to complete it. Both of us have to perform, right? It is not yet over. It is going on between us. Take, for example, even, in companies and all that, right? Between the supplier and the company, there can be contracts like, both the side, they are yet to complete their work. You finish this work, then I'll complete this work and I'll give the money, right? So it can go on as, both the sided or bilateral contract. So it can be unilateral, where one person, he completes, right? At the time of the contract, one person, he finishes, he completes. Or else it can be bilateral contract, right? So these are different types of contract. We have seen different classifications on the basis of validity, on the basis of performance, right? So we'll stop here, and we have to start with the next chapter, maybe in the next class, right? Yeah.